All right, lesson 1.2, overtime pay. Your objective today is to calculate straight time pay, overtime, and total pay. Overtime pay is extra pay for hours worked beyond the regular number of hours. Time and a half is an overtime pay rate of 1.5 times the regular hourly rate. Double time is an overtime pay rate of twice the regular hourly rate. Go ahead and get this copied down, press pause while you're doing so, and play when you're ready to move on. All right, moving right along. Here's our formulas that you need to write down. Overtime pay is overtime rate times overtime hours worked. And total pay takes our formula from yesterday for straight time pay, and you add it to your formula for overtime pay to get total pay. Okay, let's take a look at our first example. It says, Alan Moore is paid $8.20 an hour for a regular 40-hour week as a restaurant host. His overtime rate is 1.5 times his regular hourly rate. This week he worked his regular 40 hours plus 10 hours of overtime. What is his total pay? Okay, so first thing we need to do is we need to find my straight time pay. I'm just going to abbreviate straight time pay with an ST. All right, he worked 40 hours at $8.20 an hour. Okay, work that out. 40 times $8.20 is $328 in straight time pay. To find my overtime pay, he worked 10 hours at $8.20 an hour times 1.5 for the overtime. Work that out. 10 times $8.20 times 1.5. You should come up with $123. Now, just like the formula says, total pay equals straight time pay plus overtime pay. Simply add those two together, and you get $451 in total pay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on. Try the first problem on your homework. It says Josie Perez makes $9 an hour. She worked 40 regular hours and 6 hours at time and a half. Press pause, work this out on your own. Play when you're ready to check it. Okay, let's take a look at this one, see if you got it right. Let's see. We're going to find our straight time pay first. Okay, she worked 40 regular hours at $9 an hour. Okay, so 40 times 9 is $360. And then we have our overtime pay, which she worked 6 hours of overtime at $9 an hour times 1.5. Okay, 6 times 9 times 1.5 is $81. 360 plus 81 should be $441 in total pay. All right? Okay. You guys try number 2. Try it on your own, then we'll check it shortly. Press pause, play when you're ready to check. Okay, let's take a look at this. Ed Lang makes $11.50 an hour. This week he worked 36 regular hours and 7 hours at time and a half. Okay, so straight time pay, 36 hours times $11.50. And understand that the standard is 40 hours for full time, but if, sometimes something else may be used by a business, and in this case 36 is considered full time. So 36 times $11.50 is $414. You basically just have to read the instructions and follow along. Okay, overtime, 7 hours of overtime pay at $11.50 times your time and a half. 7 times 11.50 times 1.5 is 120.75. All right, add those two together. and you get $534.75 in total pay. All right? All right, moving right along. Example 2. Jessica Cooper is a receptionist at a hotel and conference center. She is paid $12.50 an hour for a regular 40-hour week. Her overtime pay is 1.5 times her regular hourly rate. This past week, Jessica earned $612.50 in total pay. How many hours overtime did she work? All right, so we're looking for the number of hours overtime she worked. So we're going to let H equal hours of overtime worked. All right, we identified the variable. Let's solve the problem. Okay, if we know that she earned $612.50 in total pay. All right, and remember, total pay is your straight time plus overtime added together. So what we've got to do is we've got to take and we've got to find our straight time plus our overtime. Okay? So for straight time, she has a regular 40-hour work week. So it's 40 hours times my rate of pay. My rate of pay is $12.50. There's my straight time. Plus my overtime. Now, we don't know how many hours she worked, but we do know the rate of pay. The rate of pay is $12.50. She gets paid time and a half, I believe. I'm looking for it. Yep, her overtime pay is 1.5 times. So $12.50 times 1.5, and then times H, where H is represented by the number of hours we worked overtime. All right? The problem is now set up. We just have to solve it. So, $612.50 equals 40 times $12.50 is $500. I simplified this. Plus, now take $12.50 times 1.5 times H. You get 18.75 H. Subtract 500 from both sides. $612.50 minus 500 is $112.50 equals 18.75 H. That canceled out. Divide both sides by 18.75. That's going to cancel. 112.50 divided by 18.75 is 6. So 6 equals H, meaning that Jessica worked 6 hours overtime. All right? Let's look at problem number 3 of your homework now. I want you guys to try this out on your own. Press pause while you're working it and play when you're ready to see it. Okay, so let's look at this one. It says, Corey Murphy earns $11.80 an hour for a regular 40-hour week at the pet store. His overtime pay is 1.5 times his regular hourly rate. Last week, Corey earned $613.60 in total pay. How many hours of overtime did he work? Okay, so again, let H represent your overtime hours. Okay, and think back to your formula. You know, your formula was total pay equals straight time plus overtime. Okay, and that's exactly what we're doing. My total pay is $613.60 equals my straight time, which is 40 hours at $11.80, plus my overtime. I don't know how many hours I worked, but I do know that 1180 is my pay rate times my overtime rate of 1.5 times H. Okay? So we work this out. 613.60 equals 40 times 1180, which is 472, plus 1180 times 1.5 times H is 1770 H. Okay? Subtract 472 from both sides. That's going to cancel here. 613.60 minus 472 is 141.60 equals 1770 H. Divide both sides by 1770. And you get 8 equals H. Okay? So, Corey worked 8 hours overtime. All right? Okay, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at problem number 4. Now, this one's tricky. Read it, try it, do your best. If you get stuck, press play and see how it's worked out. All right, so here we go. Western Deli pays its courier straight time for 36 hours per week and double time for any hours more than 36 worked. Last week, Kevin Alvarez worked a total of 42 hours and had total pay of $545.28. What is his straight time pay? All right, well, we're looking for straight time pay, right? So if we're looking for straight time pay, let's let what variable do we want to use? How about P for pay, straight time. P equals straight time pay. Okay? Now, if it says he worked a total of 42 hours, but 36 is his full time, 42 total hours minus 36 at a straight time rate, that leaves me 6 at an overtime rate. Okay? Now, think about this. They want to know our straight time pay. And we had the P for equals straight time, but that's not really what we're looking for. We know how many hours straight time he worked. What do we not know? We do not know his rate of pay. So we don't need that. We need R to equal his rate of pay. Okay, that is the part we don't know. Rate of pay. All right, so the formula that we use is total pay equals straight time pay plus overtime pay. Set it up the same way. My total pay is $545.28 equals my straight time. I know I worked 36 hours. I don't have a clue what my rate of pay is, so it's just going to be 36R. Plus, my overtime, I worked for 6 hours. And do I get paid? I get paid double time. So 6 times 2 times my rate of pay. Okay? So 545.28 equals 36R plus 6 times 2 is 12 times R is 12R. 545.28 equals 48R. Divide both sides by 48. 545, 28 divided by 48 is $11.36 equals R. Now, that is not my final answer. Okay? Remember, R is my rate of pay. But that's not what the question's asking. The question is asking, what is his straight time pay? Okay? Well, if I work 36 hours straight time, I have to take $11.36 times 36 hours worked at straight time. My straight time pay is $408.96. That's my final answer right there. All right, so here's your assignment, lesson 1.2, page 100, 1 through 17, 22, and 23. Get busy. Lad DZ out.